My beloved child, you are living in a moment when the entire universe seems to be holding its breath. The earth trembles, the seas roar, the sky changes hue, and the soul of mankind quivers like a fragile string suspended in the void. You see it, the upheaval is not only in the world around you, but rising from deep within the human heart. It is I who have allowed this shaking to occur, not to destroy, but to awaken. For when humanity sleeps in self-satisfaction and wanders in delusion, only the sound of heaven's stirring can make their hearts tremble and remember that they still belong to me. I do not create chaos to sow fear, but to open eyes to the truth that all things seen will pass away. All earthly glory, every throne of power, every monument built by human hands, all of it can crumble like sand beneath the waves if it is not founded upon light and compassion. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. Matthew 2:4-5. I let the earth shake, not to threaten, but to remind you that true endurance can only be built upon love. Humanity has entered a time of separation, a deep purification of both matter and spirit. What once seemed unshakable now trembles. What was once exalted is being tested. Truth is surfacing from the shadows like dawn breaking through the night. Amid the chaos, every soul must choose to cling to illusion or to return to the source of their being, to me, the creator of all. You can see the signs everywhere, the earth groaning, the climate shifting, hearts growing distant, compassion fading into rarity. Yet within this breaking, the seed of resurrection is being sown. For every time the world quakes, I am preparing the soil for a new season, a season of mercy and light. Behold, I make all things new. Revelation 2:1-5. The newness does not arrive as a gentle breeze, but with the thunder of awakening. Do not fear when the old collapses, for no house of truth can stand upon the foundation of deceit. Do not despair. When the walls you built around your heart begin to crack, only then can light enter. From your first breath I formed you, and placed within you an imperishable spark, a flame no storm can extinguish. Yet you have let dust settle upon it. Worries and fears have dimmed its glow. Now I come to blow away that dust, so the light within you may shine again. The shaking is not merely an external change, but an inner call, a summons to remember that no one can forever hide behind the shells of comfort or illusion. Humanity has long believed it can master everything, control nature, dictate time, even erase the line between right and wrong. But now the universe responds in its own language, the language of wind, of fire, of earth, and of water. Every wave, every gust, every flash of lightning writes an invisible message upon the heavens. Remember me. I have given you free will, but freedom does not mean detachment from the source. True freedom is the power to choose light over darkness, forgiveness over resentment, compassion over selfishness. And now you stand at that crossroad of freedom. What will you choose? The path of love or the path of indifference? Will you return to my embrace or keep running through the mirage of nothingness? Beloved child, the hour of choice has come, and there is little time left. Look around you, feel it. Each morning when sunlight pierces the mist that is not only the sun's light but the light of opportunity. Each time your heart trembles for another's pain, it is not just emotion, it is your soul calling. Each whisper of wind is me saying, I am still here. I have placed signs everywhere not to terrify you, but to remind you that there exists a higher order, a divine plan, woven through all disorder. The universe does not turn by chance. Every star, every grain of dust, every breath is part of a grand symphony. You are not a spectator, you are a note within that song. And if you remain silent, the melody of creation will falter. I know your fear. I know there are nights you stare into the void and ask, why is everything falling apart? But my child, sometimes things must fall so they can be rebuilt. You must lose to learn to value. You must walk through darkness to recognize the beauty of dawn. I allow the night not to hide you, but to teach you to see by faith. There are moments when my voice does not thunder, but whispers through stillness. In that silence, I wait for you to stop, to release, to listen. I do not seek perfect souls, I seek returning ones. When you fall, I do not turn away, I stoop down. When you wander, I do not abandon, I pursue. When you weep, my silence is not indifference. It is the quiet working of grace in depths you cannot yet see. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 4:610. You will not find peace in the noise of the world, but only in the stillness of a trusting heart. Pause, my child, and see the shaking is not the end but an invitation. It is my call for you to step out of fear's walls and return to the innocence of faith. Humanity stands at the threshold of a new era, an age in which false values will be swept away, leaving only what is true. You will witness the fall of kingdoms built on ambition, but also the rising of souls built on light. While the world trembles, those who listen will rest in my peace. I speak to you today, not with the language of reason, but of spirit. I call not to condemn, but to redeem. This great shaking is a new baptism, washing away the dust, purifying the soul, preparing you for something greater. Do not resist it. Let it melt you, strip away the old, and rebirth you in light. The age is closing. What mankind once grasped, power, fame, control, will become meaningless if not rooted in love. Only love endures, for love is the language of eternity. Remember, I do not wish you to fear the shaking, but to become light within it. I have lit a lamp within you. Now amid the storm, lift it high. Do not let it fade through confusion, judgment, or despair. Let it shine for others still searching in the dark. You were not made to hide, you were made to shine. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. The shaking is only the prelude. What comes next is dawn. And in that dawn you will understand that every trembling had purpose, that even collapse can be an expression of love, for true love never allows the soul to sleep forever in darkness. My child, I call you now. Rise, open your eyes, your ears, your heart. Do not fear the thunder beneath your feet, nor the clouds above, for beyond the storm my light awaits. Step out from the paralysis of fear and see me in every breath of the universe. When you hear the wind sing, when you feel the pulse of your heart, these are signs that I am still with you in every breath, every ray, every tremor of life. When you hear my call, answer not only with words, but with action. Let your heart become a dwelling place of peace, that others may look upon you and know that I still dwell among men. For in a world that shakes, the souls who love are the new foundations of hope. My beloved child, from the dawn of creation I placed within your soul a gift more precious than any treasure, the power to choose. No one can coerce your heart. No calamity can steal the quiet yes or no that rises from the depths of your being. This power makes you human. It gives you the ability to love, to forgive, to embrace what is good even when darkness calls. That is why the upheavals sweeping through the world are not meant to erase your freedom, but to illuminate it so that you may see more clearly which path leads to truth and which leads to blindness. With freedom you may enter grace. With the same freedom you may also reject the gentle voice of truth. And now, my child, this is the hour when the bell of discernment rings loudest. Sit down in silence and look straight into your life. Do not fear the list of choices made, the wrong turns taken, the moments missed when a hand once waited for yours. Only those who dare to look at their wounds can be healed. Only those who dare to name their faults can walk beyond them. The freedom I gave you is not a cloak to hide behind, but a lamp to see by. You cannot heal a wound still covered in cloth. Unwrap it, place it beneath the soft light of truth. You will see that even in your greatest errors, a small door has remained open, a sliver of light waiting for you to step through. You might say, but I have gone too far. I have left behind the ones I love. I have spoken words that are wounded and cannot be unsaid. I hear that sob. I know your weariness. Yet, my child, you have never fallen beyond the reach of mercy. Do not confuse the consequences you must face with a sentence of condemnation. Consequences help you grow. Condemnation buries you in despair. I did not create you to drown in hopelessness. I call you out of the long night, not with a whip, but with an invitation. Come home. When the prodigal was still far off, the father ran to him. Confer Luke 15. Your freedom is not locked away by yesterday. It only requires one step of return today. Freedom is not a single choice made once. It is a daily rhythm, a faithfulness to the smallest things, a timely apology, a grateful glance, a gentle gesture when pride wants to win. Do not wait for a grand occasion to decide the fate of your soul. That fate is woven slowly each day through 1,000 invisible threads of small decisions. When you choose to speak the truth, though it costs you, you shift the horizon of your life. When you choose to listen instead of accuse, you open a gate for peace to enter. When you share, though you have little, you are laying the foundation for a harvest you cannot yet see. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not give up. Galatians 6:9. At times you will ask, how do I choose good in a world of gray where truth and falsehood blur? Return to the simplest but deepest tests. What leads you to freedom? What brings you peace? What makes you gentler with yourself and others? A true choice always brings light, even when it costs you. A deceitful choice brings quick success, but leaves a bitter taste in your soul. Truth does not promise shortcuts. It promises a straight road. Love does not erase the cross. It gives you shoulders to carry it and then leads you through. Your freedom is shaped by what you worship. If you worship profit, your decisions will bow to gain and loss. If you worship public opinion, you will sway with the winds of approval. If you worship your own ego, you will build high walls, and when storms come, those walls will fall upon you. But if you worship truth, your choices will bear the mark of endurance. If you worship mercy, you will find paths unseen by the pragmatic. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Matthew 5:8. This is not a slogan, but an experience. A pure heart is a window open to heaven. Train your freedom as a musician trains his instrument. No one becomes an artist overnight. Freedom, too, requires gentle discipline, steady practice. You can begin with 4 simple acts each day. First, pause for a few moments of silence. Set down your phone as though dropping an anchor so your soul may breathe. Second, recall one thing that stirred gratitude in you, perhaps the fragrance of warm tea or a stranger's smile, and whisper thanks. Third, perform one deliberate act of kindness. Send an apology, wash a dish for another, lift a child who has fallen. Fourth, before sleep, ask your heart, where today did I betray the light? Where did I remain faithful? Do not condemn yourself. Simply light the intention to grow tomorrow. These small habits are the bricks that will one day uphold the roof of your being. I know you still wrestle with the word final. That word can frighten you, yet true fear does not paralyze, it awakens. What I call your last chance is not a noose hanging above you, but a lamp blazing at the crossroads to keep you from stepping into the abyss. This moment is sacred because it is real. All vague promises will fade like smoke. Only today's decision will remain like a stone laid in your foundation. Do not wait for emotion to surge. Emotion is a wave. Choice is the vessel. The wave may shift direction, but the vessel must know its harbor. You ask, if I choose what is good, can the past be healed? Will those I've hurt open their doors again? I do not promise that every crack will close at once. I promise something greater. The truth will set you free. John 8:3. 2. That freedom enables you to knock humbly on each heart, to wait with patience, and not to give up when all seems slow. It gives you courage to make amends, to accept responsibility, to stand firm when misunderstood, to soften when attacked. Whoever walks in truth does not fear the light. Whoever abides in love does not fear the scar. Freedom also requires surrender. Do not think surrender is defeat. It is choosing what is better. Surrender a habit that muddies your soul. Surrender a relationship that drifts you from goodness. Surrender a pursuit that erodes your dignity. Such surrenders carve out the space where peace may dwell. Remember, a seed must shed its shell to sprout. Unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. John 1:2-4. To die here is to die to pride, to stubbornness, to the illusion that you are the center. Once you release, new life will rise quietly, not loudly but steadfastly. You will face crossroads where both paths seem right. When that happens, do not ask which road is easier. Ask which is just. Do not ask what will people think. Ask who will my soul become. Choose the way that keeps your heart tender. A hardened heart may win arguments but loses life. A soft heart may lose fleeting victories but keeps the capacity to love. And it is this capacity to love that carries you through every storm. If you wish to know what you are choosing, listen to your words. Speech mirrors the decisions of the heart. Harsh words build walls, gentle words open doors. Lies imprison, truth unlocks. Let your voice become a clean glass from which others may drink and be refreshed. Speak less when angry, slower when provoked, clearer when needed, and be silent when silence is love. Not everything needs to be explained. Often a sincere embrace is the fullest answer. Beloved child, your freedom is also rooted in your body, in how you rest, eat, and move. Do not despise ordinary things. Weariness invites impulse. Impulse begets poor decisions. Care for your body as the house that shelters your soul. A tended body clears the mind and keeps the heart from hardening under collision. Step outside. Let your eyes meet the sunset. Your feet feel the voice of the earth. Your breath catches the scent of grass after rain. Such gentleness will not solve every problem, but it washes off the dust of strain so you can hear the voice within. Choose prayer. Do not wait to be holy before you pray. It is prayer that makes you holy. Speak to me in your own language, with the halting awkwardness of a beginner, with sentences broken by tears. I hear every whisper. Try whispering this right now, Lord. Teach me to choose what pleases you. Give me courage to step out of my own darkness. When you pray, you are not working magic. You are opening a door. No wind enters a closed room. No peace enters a locked heart. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. Revelation 3:2-0. You need only turn the latch. I know there are long entrenched bonds that make you think you cannot be different. But every rope that binds you is already frayed. One persevering choice will break it. I do not ask you to save yourself. I ask you to cooperate with grace. You humble yourself one step, grace advances 10. You speak one honest sentence, grace opens 100 paths. You return once, grace rebuilds an entire life. Do not calculate grace as if it were profit. It is not a loan, it is a gift. You need only open your hands. If there is anything for you to do right now, it is this. Choose one person to apologize to, one thing, to restore one habit, to stop one word of praise, to speak one small gift to give. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Your beginning makes the moment perfect. When you step, the ground becomes a path. When you knock, the door will open. When you call, the answer will sound. My promises are not slogans for fair weather. They are cables that carry you over chasms. Do not fear, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. Isaiah 4:1-10. My child, the final choice is not a leap into the unknown. It is a step back into the house of peace. That house is not out there. It is within you, where conscience and compassion meet, where truth and grace hold hands. When you stand on the threshold, take a deep breath. Let your heart speak decisively. Lay down the burdens you need not bear, and step forward. I go before you, to guide behind you, to uphold beside you, to shelter within you, to enlighten. Your freedom has never been alone. It is forever held in the arms of love. So today, with all that you are and all you have yet to become, choose. Choose light over shadow, truth over pretense, gentleness over hardness, fidelity over forgetfulness, hope over surrender. Do not fear a long road, fear standing still. Do not fear empty hands, fear a cold heart. When you choose what is right, heaven rejoices. When you choose what is good, the earth grows lighter. You are a single thread in a vast tapestry, yet never small in my eyes, and today that thread can change the color of the sky. Let these words end as a beginning. Freedom is a grace, choice is a liturgy, life is an altar. Lay your decision upon that altar like a quiet, fragrant incense. Then you will see each day a gentle flame arise, not dazzling, not showy enough to lead you on enough to warm those who have lost their way. And at the end of the road, when you look back, you will smile. It all began with a very small yes on a very ordinary afternoon, and that yes opened eternity. My child, when the world sways outside, the first thing to tremble is not buildings or mountains, but the human heart. Truth, when it draws near, makes the soul quiver. It is like the first light after a long night, beautiful yet blinding, warm yet burning. Every person at some moment must face the truth about themselves, about past choices, and about the one who called them from the beginning. I see the fear in your eyes, not fear of destruction but of change. You fear that stepping into the light will reveal the stains upon your soul. But my child, light does not come to condemn, it comes to guide. As fire does not burn aimlessly but refines gold, so truth comes to return you to your true form, clear, pure, and full of worth. He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. He will purify the sons of Levi and refine them like gold and silver, so that they may bring offerings in righteousness. Malachi 3:3. This is what I am doing in your life, refining, not punishing. You asked, why has the world become so unsettled? Understand this, no shaking is without purpose. When a house quivers, it is not to terrify you, but to reveal where the foundation is weak. When a storm passes, it sweeps away dry leaves, but also uproots dead trees. So too, the convulsions of this age are not to destroy, but to separate the real from the counterfeit, the living from what has withered. In the turmoil, I am teaching you what should remain and what must be released. Do you feel it? In every thunderclap, every wind, there is an invitation. I am speaking to humanity, return, but only those who listen with the heart will hear. Some hear a threat, others hear a promise. What you choose to hear measures your soul. The world may shake, but those who stand on the foundation of love will not fall. When the earth shakes, I am your rock. Confer, Psalm 6:2. Do not fear looking back. I do not ask you to erase your past, but to see it with new eyes. Every wound placed in the hands of grace can become a seal of victory. When you see your scars, do not see shame, see the proof that you survived. When you recall the dark days, do not sink into regret. Remember that I was there in every tear, in every broken breath, in every prayer you thought no one heard. Let old memories become a song, not chains. The past does not define you, it trains you. Failure is not a sentence, it is a teacher. Lift your eyes, for I am not behind you where the pages have closed, but before you where the light unfolds. All you need to carry is a heart that learns, that loves, and that hopes. When you stand between two currents, on one side, the old sin on the other, the call of grace your soul will sway. Do not blame it. That swaying is the sign you are alive, that within you still rises the desire for good. Only the spiritually dead feel no struggle. The inner battle proves that light is at work and darkness has not won. There will be moments when everything seems to collapse: your certainties, your relationships, even the dreams you deemed sacred. Trust me, nothing is truly lost in my hands. Whatever is taken, if you let me steer, will be returned in another way, deeper, purer. When Abraham took Isaac up the mountain, he did not know who would come back, the child or the ache. But he chose obedience. In that very moment, blessing began. His faith became a foundation for generations. So with you, you do not know what lies ahead, but I do. Obey even when you do not understand, for faith does not demand evidence. It is the evidence of what is not yet seen. People often ask, why does God allow suffering? My child, suffering is a language the soul understands best. In ease you easily forget me. In tears you find me again. Not because I want you to hurt, but because only when the shell cracks can the seed inside have room to grow. When you endure, do not think I am silent. Think I am writing. Every wound is a line in love's covenant, and no line is meaningless. Remember, what I seek in you is not perfection, but faithfulness. I do not need you never to fall. I need you to rise each time you do. I do not need you never to doubt. I need you to hold my hand even while you doubt. I do not need you never to fear. I need you to step forward though afraid. It is precisely when you tremble and still walk that heaven opens a new way. When you feel weak, whisper, your grace is sufficient for me, for my power is made perfect in weakness. The soul that dares to confess its smallness is the very place my strength abides. Do not strain to seem strong, be humble to be lifted. I do not ask you to be a hero, only to be true. Honesty is the highest form of faith. It opens the door for me to enter. My beloved child, in the tremors of life, you may see many fall and many values overturned. But do not be afraid. What is built on rock will not be shaken. What is built on sand will fall only to make room for what is stronger. You cannot save the whole world, but you can keep your own heart straight. A single candle cannot light an entire city, yet it is enough to guide the one beside it, and in my eyes that candle is more precious than a palace of gold. Do not forget, this shaking is not the final silence, but the overture to resurrection. When the earth quakes, stand firm. When the rain pours, lift your head. When the wind roars, listen, for within its voice may be mine. For I am there in every sound, in every shade of chaos. There is no space I do not touch, no storm that exceeds my power. Now rise, breathe deeply the morning air where dawn spills like a promise. Let fear dissolve in my presence. Do not seek safety in outward things, they are as fleeting as dew. Seek it in my heart where peace is not a product of circumstance. I do not promise an easy life, but I promise to walk beside you. And when night falls and your heart trembles, remember that trembling is not failure. It is a reminder that your soul still lives and still hears the call. Whisper, I believe, though I still doubt. And I will come gentle, as wind fierce as fire, tender as the light of dawn. The shaking does not end in ruin, but in rebirth. The world is shedding its old skin, and so are you. Let fear melt into faith. Let every wound become a doorway. I am here in your heartbeat, in the warmth of the morning air, in the life that beckons you forward. My child, when your heart trembles, knows this. It is not the end, but the beginning of truth. And the truth will set you free. My beloved, there are moments in life when words cannot contain pain and only tears can speak for you. But know this, no tear is ever wasted. In my kingdom, tears are seeds hidden deep in the soil of sorrow, one day to bloom into joy. Those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy. Psalm 1:2, 6, 5. You think you are losing, but in truth you are planting. When you weep, you shed the garment of pride, and your naked soul is bathed in the cleansing water of grace. Tears are not the mark of weakness, but the testimony of love, for only those who have loved, hoped, and believed can hurt so deeply. Tears are the primal language of the heart, the soul's way of telling heaven it still lives, still feels, still longs for the divine. There are nights you cry in silence unseen and think I do not hear. But my child, I not only hear, I count them. You have kept count of my tossings. Put my tears in your bottle. Psalm 5, 6, 8. No sob falls into emptiness. Each drop is precious to me, for within it lies the raw truth of a frail being still reaching for me. I know there are pains you cannot speak of, wounds not on the body but deep in memory of loss, betrayal, or what might have been. Yet from those hidden places healing begins. Grace does not flow through closed hearts, it seeps through the cracks. If you had never been broken, you would never have needed me. Many flee from pain seeking to forget, replace, or numb the ache. But understand, tears are not to be erased, but sanctified. When you lift your tears to me, they become a river of transformation. When you cry in my presence, your pain is no longer a burden, it becomes prayer. Every tear of repentance, every trembling breath can become a hymn if you place it in my hands. You ask, why does God allow me to hurt so deeply? Because, my child, only through pain do you learn true compassion. When you are wounded, you understand the fragility of others. When betrayed, you grasp the worth of loyalty. When you lose, you comprehend the sacredness of keeping. Pain softens your heart, and only a soft heart can hold grace. Grace cannot dwell in pride, just as rain cannot rest upon stone. I know there are wounds you hide, afraid others will judge, afraid to reopen what still aches. But my child, light can only heal what it touches. Let me reach where you have concealed. Let me shine into the corners you have avoided, not to shame you, but to free you. True freedom does not come from forgetting, but from facing and releasing. Often you feel forgiveness is beyond your strength. You wish to let go, but when the memory returns, anger rises again. You seek peace, but old hurts stab anew. My child, forgiveness is not forgetting, it is ceasing to let the wound define you. It is not denying the pain, but refusing to let it command your future. Forgiveness is the act of the strong, of those brave enough not to retaliate, humble enough to believe that true justice rests in me. Remember, you do not forgive because others deserve it. You forgive because you deserve peace. Holding on to resentment makes you a prisoner within your own soul. Releasing it breaks the chains and lets the light enter. Forgiveness is not the weakness of the defeated, it is the victory of the loving. Let your tears wash away the long nights of bitterness, and you will see the pain that once suffocated. You will become proof of your freedom. Your tears are never wasted. Each one that falls becomes a seed of new life. Today you see only ashes, but within the ashes seeds are sprouting. I am working quietly, deeply, like the grain of wheat hidden in the earth, seeming to die, but dying begins to live. Do not rush to see the harvest. Sacred things take time to grow. Be patient. I am using your tears to water the fields of your future. When you offer your tears to me, I turn them into pearls, luminous with compassion, wisdom, and faith refined by fire. You will no longer see others through judgment, but through empathy. You will no longer ask why, but say thank you. For pain has made you deeper, humbler, and closer to me. And remember, tears do not fall only from sorrow, but from grace. Some tears are not born of grief, but of revelation, that I am still here, that though you have fallen, I still love you as I did at first. When you realize this, your heart will melt not from sorrow, but from love. These are the tears of salvation, the purest water flowing from a soul set free. My beloved child, let your tears do their work. Let them rinse your mind, soothe your wounds, and open the door to forgiveness. You do not need to hold them back or pretend to be strong. Cry in my arms, Let each drop fall like a prayer. Every sincere tear is an I believe, an I'm sorry, a thank you, a please, help me begin again. And when the tears have ceased, you will notice something wondrous. The burden in your heart grows light, not because everything outside has changed, but because you have been changed. In the light of forgiveness, the one who hurt you will no longer appear as an enemy, but as someone I have used to teach you a deeper love. You will see that the pain which once brought you to your knees has become the very step that carries you closer to me. Tears and forgiveness are the twin wings of the soul. One makes you humble, the other helps you rise. When the two become one, you will feel weightless, as though born anew. You will understand that true life is not in avoiding pain, but in letting pain become the doorway through which light enters. Let today's tears become tomorrow's seed. Believe that no tear falls without my knowing, no wound is too deep for my touch. Believe that even in the darkest night the seed is sprouting and dawn will come, a morning where you will reap with laughter, sing in freedom, and walk lightly in my light. This is my promise to you, written not with ink, but with tears turned to pearls, with love that has overcome the dark, and with grace that never runs dry. My child, forgiveness is not an act of logic, but a journey of the soul. It does not begin with strength, but with weakness laid bare before love. Forgiveness does not happen in the instant you say, I forgive, but over long days, in which you learn not to tremble each time the old wound returns to mind. It is a road not paved with arguments, but with tears and with the slow steps of faith. I know there are things that have broken your heart. There are people in whom you placed your trust who then made you question the very meaning of love. There are words you spoke with all sincerity, only to be answered with silence, with coldness. There are dreams that fall apart in your hands like sand, slipping through your fingers. In those moments, your heart feels turned to stone, unable to love, to trust, to forgive. But hear me, a heart turned to stone is not the end. It is the moment the seed of compassion is buried deep, waiting to rise. No rock is impenetrable to water. No ice is beyond the warming of light. When you feel your heart harden, do not despair. Let me melt it with my breath, with a presence quiet yet strong as spring returning after a long winter. Forgiveness is not forgetting. It is remembering with a transformed heart. When you forgive, memory remains, but it no longer wounds. It becomes a lesson, not a sentence. It becomes a reminder of human frailty and of the power of mercy. Forgiveness is when you can look into the face of the one who hurt you and see no hatred there, only another soul struggling as you once did. You think forgiveness is a gift you give to others, but truly it is the gift I long to give to you. When you clutch anger, you build walls around your heart, walls that keep not only others out, but me as well. You say you want peace, yet peace cannot dwell in the house of hatred. You desire freedom, yet the chains of bitterness do not bind the wrists, they bind the heart. Only when you open your heart in forgiveness can I enter to pour true peace into your soul. Do not wait for your feelings to change before you forgive, for feelings will never lead you to forgiveness. Forgiveness will lead your feelings. Begin with a decision, and grace will complete the rest. You say, I cannot forgive. That is because you think you must do it alone. Forgiveness is never the work of a solitary human. It is a miracle that happens when you consent to let me work within you, offer the hurt to me. Tell me everything, not as a scripted prayer, but as an honest conversation. Tell me where it aches, who broke you, how the betrayal felt. I never tire of listening. I will not rush you to forget. I only ask that you invite me in, for only in my presence can the wound become whole. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. Matthew 1:1-9. When your heart learns my rhythm of compassion, peace will come, not noisily, not suddenly, but like warmth soaking into the skin after a cold rain. There will be a morning When you wake and notice something strange, the memory remains, but it no longer burns. You have crossed the boundary of hatred and entered the land of peace. Forgiveness is not letting another escape responsibility. It is letting yourself escape captivity. Some will never admit fault. Some apologies you will never hear, but you do not need them to be free. Your healing does not come from outside. It comes from the one who lives within you. When you forgive, you declare that the past no longer governs the present, that darkness no longer rules your light. Lift your eyes to the cross where my only Son hung in blood and breath, and still said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Luke 2:3-4. Does forgiveness seem too great? Look at the crucified who did not call for vengeance, who did not summon angels but chose to love to the very end. That love not only redeemed the world, it set the pattern for your soul. Each time you forgive, you resemble him, you become like love itself. Forgiveness does not mean maintaining the relationships that harmed you. There are people you must release, not because you hate them, but because you desire freedom for you both. Forgiveness does not require returning to the place of your wounding. It only requires that you refuse to carry hatred along the way. Forgiveness is to stop drinking the poison while hoping another will suffer. It is to set down the bitter cup and drink the living water. As you begin to forgive, your heart grows wide. You start to see that everyone carries hidden wounds, everyone wrestles with shadows not yet healed. You will see yourself in others and your compassion will blossom. Forgiveness is not merely an act of kindness. It is the awakening of sight, the recognition that all of you are loved by the same grace and rescued by the same mercy. True peace does not come from having everything resolved, but from no longer needing it to be as you wish. When you place outcomes in my hands, the burden dissolves. When you stop trying to fix everything, I finally have room to work. Peace is not the prize of those who control. It is the gift for those who release. Know this, deeply forgiveness is a creative act. It does not only end what was, it begins what can be. When you forgive, you are reborn. You step into a land where hatred no longer reigns, where love blooms on the very soil of suffering. Every soul that forgives bears the mark of creation, for forgiveness is the work of the Creator. And when you forgive, you join me in recreating this world, a world where love is stronger than hate. Do not fear if this journey makes you feel weak. Forgiveness does not demand that you be strong, it asks that you be true. Admit that you are tired, that you are wounded, that you need me. In the admitting you are lifted, I do not ask you to become unfeeling. I ask you to become gentle. Only a gentle heart can mirror my face. My beloved child, one day will come when you stand in the middle of life, look back at all that once made you weep, and you will smile. Not because you have forgotten, but because you have understood. You will understand that no wound was meaningless, no tear was lost, and no journey was ever truly lonely. You will understand that grace does not come when you are perfect, but when you are broken. You will understand that peace is not a prize at the end, but a quiet companion along the way. When you rediscover peace through forgiveness, you will witness a miracle. You are not only healed, but made a healer. You will carry within you the energy of light, compassion, and gentleness that this world so deeply thirsts for. And I will use you as a channel of love, so that whoever meets you, even for a moment, may feel a touch of heaven in your eyes. So today, my child, place your hand over your heart and say, "Father, I choose to forgive, not because they deserve it, but because I long to be free. I give you my pain, my anger, and all that I can no longer carry. Pour your peace into the places that once burned. Teach me to love as you have loved. When you speak these words, you are no longer alone. Heaven bends low, the earth grows still, and I, the one who loves you with unfading love, will place my hand upon you." From that moment, the river of peace begins to flow softly, steadily, filling every hidden place of your soul. And like a quiet miracle, you will see what you never imagined, the old pain turning into light, the dark past softening like the evening sky after rain. Then you will know you have truly forgiven, not with words but with breath. My child, forgiveness is not the final chapter of pain. It is the opening of rebirth. When you truly forgive, you do not just close a wound, you open a door. Passing through that door, your soul is cleansed by the light I pour out like spring rain upon parched ground. In that new soil, seeds of peace, kindness, and hope begin to grow. Forgiveness is not merely releasing others. It is the baptism of your own soul. When you forgive, you let your spirit drift back into clear water. For anger, bitterness, and resentment are invisible chains. They imprison not others but you. Forgiveness cuts those cords to the past, freeing you to step into the present where I am waiting. You have asked, how can I forgive when it still hurts? And I say, you need not wait for the pain to fade before you forgive. Forgive in the midst of the pain, for within the wound the seed of healing is planted. Forgiveness is not the result, it is the beginning. You do not need to feel peace to forgive. You must forgive to feel peace. Forgiveness is an act of faith. It declares, I believe in a higher justice, in a righteous hand working silently. Forgiveness does not deny what happened. It looks directly into the darkness and refuses to let the darkness define you. Forgiveness does not call evil good. It believes that good will have the final word. When you forgive, you proclaim to heaven and earth that light is stronger than shadow and love deeper than hate. You may think forgiveness is weakness, but it is the greatest strength your soul can hold. It takes courage to fight, but greatness to release. Forgiveness is the victory of the one who dares to believe in love, even when love has been betrayed. Forgiveness is choosing mercy in a world that teaches defense. It is standing tall in the wind, hands open in the storm, and saying, I still choose love. I see within you the old scars where love was wounded and trust was broken. But my child's scars are not the evidence of failure. They are the proof that you survived. When touched by my hand, those wounds will become marks of light, no longer memories of pain, but symbols of life restored. Let them tell the story of triumph, not yours alone, but of grace alive within you. Those who hurt you may never understand the pain they caused, but you do not need their understanding to be healed. Healing is not born from acknowledgement, but from surrender, from placing all things into my hands. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 1:1-8. When you give me that burden, I turn it into wings. You will rise, look down, and see how small all things appear from above. Forgiveness does not erase memory. It transforms memory into wisdom. Each time you remember the past, you can choose how to see it, not through the eyes of pain, but through the lens of grace. See how you survived, how you rose, how I never left you, even when you felt forgotten. Forgiveness is shifting your gaze from the wound to the light. Do not fear if the journey of forgiveness takes time. It is not a single decision, but a melody played over and over within the heart. Some days you will feel light, some days the memory will sting again. But each time you choose to forgive a little more, another chain falls away. Forgiveness is the slow march of light, invading the darkness, steady, gentle, unstoppable. Perhaps today you can only say, I want to forgive. Do not be ashamed of that. The desire itself is a seed of life. When you want to forgive, I am already at work. I do not ask for perfection. I ask for willingness. Let me do the rest. Grace always finds its way to an open heart. Look at the rivers. They do not choose where they pass, yet they renew themselves at every bend. So too must you. Let the waters of forgiveness wash through your soul each day, so that even when life leads you through barren lands, you remain clear, alive, flowing. The river of grace will never run dry if you allow it to move. Forgiveness is the soil where new love grows. When you hold on to hatred, you close the door of your heart, and when the door closes, Not only is darkness trapped inside, but light is kept out. When you open the door, the wind may carry dust, but it also carries fragrance. Dare to open, dare to trust, dare to love again. Do not let old wounds make you doubt the good. The world still needs your love, a love refined by the fire of sorrow. Forgiveness is not only for others, it is for yourself. You too have erred. You too have been wounded without knowing. Forgiving yourself is the final step into freedom. Let go of the self-condemnation. Do not sit forever in silent guilt. You cannot walk forward while staring at where you fell. Rise, dust off the past and move on. Each step forward is a thank you whispered to me, the one who never stopped believing in you. Remember, I do not define you by your past, but by the potential I placed within you. When I look at you, I do not see sin. I see rebirth waiting to unfold. When I hear your prayer, I do not hear weakness. I hear the voice of a soul learning to fly. You may think it is too late, but in my kingdom it is never too late to begin again. Every day you choose love over hate, faith over fear, forgiveness over revenge. That day you renew the world. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Romans 1:2-1. My child, this is the key to resurrection. Forgiveness is the quiet victory, no audience, no applause, yet heaven rejoices. Every soul that forgives opens a door of light for others to follow. When you choose to forgive, you do not only transform your life, you lighten the burden of all humanity. And one day when you look back, you will see that every wound, every tear, every lonely night was a golden thread weaving the robe of your renewed soul, a garment stitched with love, lined with mercy, and shining with the light of forgiveness. When you wear it, the world will know that you are no longer who you were, but a new creation, reborn in the light. My child, forgiveness is the most beautiful act a soul can offer, for in it you mirror my very image. When you forgive, you become a river of grace, flowing through the deserts of this world, carrying life to parched souls. When you forgive, you become a vessel of light, and no matter how dark the world may be, your mere presence keeps that light alive. And now I say to you, let your heart rest. You have fought long enough. You have wept enough. Let peace cover you like the gentle blanket of dusk. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and feel my breath in the wind, in the rhythm of your heart. You are forgiven. You have forgiven, and you are being reborn. From this day, live as one who is free, not because the past has been erased, but because you have chosen not to let it imprison you any longer. Live as one who has stepped out of the dark cell, carrying in your hands the lamp of mercy to light the way for those still lost. Live as one who knows that love is the strongest weapon and forgiveness the final victory. This is true rebirth, when a once broken heart becomes a dwelling of light, when tears turn into seed, and when you, the one who suffered, become a witness to endless love. Now go, child of peace, for I have made all things new within you, my child. There are moments in human history when it seems as though heaven and earth sigh in unison. The ground trembles, the winds shift, the sea roars, and people stand silent, looking to one another in confusion, asking, "What is happening to this world?" But what you see outside is only the reflection of what is unfolding within. When the earth quakes, it is the human soul that is turning. When nature cries out, it echoes the longing of hearts that yearn to awaken. I have allowed these upheavals not to fill you with fear, but to remind you how fragile and sacred life is. You have walked too long in quiet forgetfulness, too long immersed in the comforts of the world, forgetting that every breath you draw is grace. So I stirred the universe to awaken you. For sometimes only when the ground beneath your feet shakes, do you remember that you need a firmer foundation, the foundation of faith. When you hear thunder crack and the sky changes color and the impossible comes to pass, remember, this is not the collapse of the world, but creation shedding its skin. All is held within my design. Shaking does not come to destroy but to purify, not to end but to begin. As a seed must split to rise, so humanity is breaking open to bring forth a new season, a season of light and compassion. I see your soul trembling in the same way. There are nights you cannot sleep, days when you are silent while your heart storms. You do not understand why you are so tired, why tears come without reason, why the things you once deemed important suddenly feel empty. My child, that is the call of awakening. Your soul desires to grow. It cannot sleep forever in the comfort zone. Awakening always travels with trembling. As a mountain erupts and tears the earth, yet new land is formed. So when your soul quakes, I am not removing your peace. I am enlarging it. You think you are losing, but I am teaching you to receive more. Like a jar that must crack to be filled with new wine, the old within you must give way for the new to be born. You say, but I am afraid. I don't know what is happening to me. Do not fear. Fear is only the shadow cast by what you do not yet understand. When I unsettle your world, it is not to make you stray, but to bring you back to your center where I dwell. Shaking is my lamp. It shines brightest when everything around you grows dim. Do not run from it. Step into it, for there you will find me. Look again at the world around you. You will see things once deemed solid begin to sway, mankind's trust in wealth status and self-made wisdom dissolving like smoke. Do not grieve. When idols fall, the light of truth is seen. Every tremor carries an invitation. Return. You may resist or you may yield. A grain of sand cannot stop the tide, yet it can let itself be carried to a new shore. Each soul in this hour is being tried by fire, not to be burned up, but to be refined. That fire is the sign of my love, not my anger. It consumes what is false old habits, crooked thoughts, so that you may become clear as crystal. And when you stand in the flame, do not be afraid. Remember my word through the prophet Isaiah. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through fire, you shall not be burned. Isaiah 4:3-2. I am in the heart of every shaking. I do not watch from afar. I am in the very eye of the storm, suffering with you, persevering with you, bringing you through. When you lose everything, I am what remains. When you stand upon ashes, I am the seed that sprouts from them. When you think you've reached the bottom, I am the bedrock lifting you up. Lift up your head. In the midst of upheaval, signs of life still arise. Train your eyes to seek light rather than count shadows. Let your heart look for what I am doing, not only at what is falling apart. When you learn to see by faith, everything changes. The shaking becomes not a threat, but travail. The world is not dying, it is being born. Some things you love will pass. Some bonds will break. Some dreams will shatter. But do not mourn forever, for I take nothing without giving something better. Every loss is a sacred exchange. You release the temporary to receive the eternal. You loosen your grip so your empty hands may receive what I give. Believe this, no shaking is useless when I am the one who commands it. Train your ear to hear my voice in the echoes of the world. My voice does not always come in the storm or the thunder, but in the gentle whisper, as Elijah heard a low whisper. 1 Kings 1:9-1:2. In every upheaval, keep your heart still. Only in stillness will you hear me. Know this, awakening is never easy. It is like being roused from a long sleep. The light is too bright, and you long to close your eyes. But if you close them, you will miss the dawn. The pain of change is only for a moment. The freedom it brings is forever. Be patient with yourself. Let me lead you step by step, for no one is forced to wake before the time. I invite you into the journey of faith, where each tremor of the earth becomes a note in the symphony of awakening. Walk calmly, for you do not walk alone. Multitudes are awakening with you, like countless candles lit in the night. That light, cannot be extinguished. It will spread from heart to heart, from house to house, until the whole world is covered with the brightness of truth. Do not see the shaking as punishment, but as an invitation. Let every loss become a chance to look within. Ask, what am I learning? What must I release? Where am I being led? These questions are the gateways of wisdom. And I, the one who is quiet in the storm, am the answer you seek. As your soul awakens, the world will look different. Colors will change. Sounds will deepen. Even the beat of your heart will feel new. You will begin to perceive my presence in the simplest things, in birdsong, in a passerby's smile, in the light slipping through a window. Then you will know I was never far. You only needed to awaken to see me. And while the earth continues to tremble, let your soul tremble too, not with fear, but with love. Let every heartbeat sync with the rhythm of the universe. Let every breath become thanksgiving. You cannot halt the world's turning, but you can choose how you stand within it, not with confusion, but with faith, not with fear, but with deep trust that everything, even this shaking, rests in my hands. My beloved child, I never promised there would be no storms, but I did promise that you would never face one alone. When you feel the ground trembling beneath your feet, know this: it is the moment I am at work, rearranging, clearing, renewing. The world is shifting, and so are you. Do not search frantically for refuge outside yourself, for the safest shelter is within my heart. There are moments in every soul's journey when all that once seemed solid begins to fall apart. The things you thought were forever, your work, your relationships, your honor, even your dreams, crumble like a wall worn thin by time. You cry out, Lord, why would you let everything I've built vanish in a moment? But my child, I do not come to destroy, I come to recreate. Collapse is not an ending. It is the doorway to something new, something truer, something that has always belonged to you. As a grain of wheat must fall into the earth and die before it can sprout, so too must your life pass through moments of breaking to be reborn in a new form. Brokenness is not your enemy. It is the stern friend that teaches you to stand firm. When old walls crumble, you finally see open sky to build upon a true foundation. When your hands are empty, I can place eternity in them. I do not take what you need. I remove what you no longer require, even if you do not yet see it. There are losses so deep they feel like the tearing of your very soul. Yet in those tears my light shines through. Like a cracked jar repaired with gold, your fractures become the most radiant places. You are not being destroyed, you are being reshaped. Do not see ruins as failure. See them as clay in the potter's hands. Go down to the potter's house, and there I will give you my message. Jeremiah 1:8-2. The potter does not abandon the vessel that breaks. He grinds it down, kneads it again, and forms something more beautiful. I am doing the same with you, not erasing but completing you. I have heard your cries. I have seen you lying in the dark, staring at the ceiling, believing it is over. Yet even in that darkness I am working. Just as a seed cannot sprout unless buried in black soil, your soul must pass through its night to rise in light. You think you have been buried, but you have been planted. Each loss, my child, is not a subtraction but a release. Collapse teaches you to discern the genuine from the false, the temporary from the eternal. When small things slip away, it is because I am preparing you for greater ones. When you are pushed from comfort, it is because I do not want you trapped in repetition. Renewal demands dismantling. I cannot pour new wine into old skins, they would burst. So I break the vessel not to hurt you, but so you can hold what is new. I know you are afraid of beginnings you cannot control, of change that comes unannounced. But my child, everything in creation moves through seasons. Spring blossoms, summer burns, bright autumn fades, winter rests, and spring returns again. Collapse is but the winter of the soul, not an end but rest before rebirth. Do not fear falling leaves. They must fall for the tree to live. When you learn to release, you align yourself with life itself. You ask, how can I believe when everything around me is breaking? Faith, my child, is not the absence of fear. It is walking despite it. Faith is standing amid ashes and declaring, I know that my Redeemer lives. Job 1:9-5. Faith is seeing ruin yet believing I am rebuilding. Faith is stepping into a dead end, trusting I will open a way. Look at the vine. When the gardener prunes it, the vine feels cut and ruined. Yet the pruning gathers life into what remains, so it may bear more fruit. I do the same with you. When I trim away a part of your life, it is not rejection, it is preparation for abundance. Let me prune you. Let me teach you how to bloom. Do not cling to what is leaving. The tighter you grasp, the deeper it hurts. I will never force you to let go, but you will learn that release is the only road to freedom. Letting go is not giving up, it is trusting me. When you release, you are saying, I trust your wisdom more than my own understanding. And when you do, the miracle begins. New life springs up from the very ground of your loss. The season of renewal does not announce itself with thunder. It comes quietly. Like a seed pushing through the soil, the process is unseen yet unstoppable. You may not see it yet, but I am working in the silence. You may not feel it, but I am rebuilding you thread by thread, scar by scar, tear by tear. Nothing is wasted. No pain is purposeless. You think collapse means failure, but sometimes I let you fail so you can learn truths success could never teach. Success can make you proud, failure makes you real. In failure, you learn that true strength does not rise from within but from me. You do not need perfection to be loved, only honesty, faith, and openness. Look at the mountain after a landslide, its surface torn, yet its depths reveal precious stone. So it is with you. Your breaking only uncovers the hidden beauty I placed in you long ago. Do not fear being broken. I only shatter what is false. All that is real in you, compassion, faith, light, will remain brighter than before. My child, this season of renewal does not demand that you understand, only that you agree. You cannot command the wind, but you can raise your sail. You cannot stop the storm, but you can hold my hand. When you let me lead, you will see what seemed like an ending was only a turning point. You are not merely being restored to live again, you are being remade to live deeper, truer, and to love without limit. My beloved child, one day when you look back, you will see that collapse was never truly frightening. You will give thanks for it made you humble, awakened, and more dependent on me. You will see that what you once called loss was in fact a gift. For without those moments of breaking, you would never have known the depth of my love or the patience of my grace. There is no beginning that does not require an ending before it. No spring without the passing of winter. No new life without first walking through death. But that death is only temporary, for beyond it lies eternal life. Behold, I make all things new. Revelation 2:1-5. Let these words be engraved upon your heart so that whenever you see a door close, you will remember that I am opening another, wider, brighter, and filled with greater hope. When you feel yourself falling apart, do not resist. Lay your head upon my shoulder. Let your tears flow, for they are proof that you are still alive, still tender, still believing. And as those tears fall, they water the seeds of a new season. Then one morning you will awaken, look around, and realize the old pain has gone, and a new flower is blooming within your soul. That is the season of renewal, the time when collapse no longer frightens you, but becomes a song of hope. The season when your soul knows that though all things change, my love remains the unshakable foundation beneath it all. And from that foundation you will rise radiant as never before, to continue your journey not as a survivor but as a witness of new life. My child, do you know why fire is the symbol of the divine presence? Because fire both destroys and refines. It carries the power to consume and the power to renew. Fire is unyielding, yet it is never cruel. It simply fulfills its purpose to burn away all that is false, so that only the pure may remain. In the same way, when your soul passes through the fire of trial, you are not being destroyed. You are being purified until you shine like gold refined in the furnace. I know fire frightens you. No one wants to step into a place where everything can melt away. But my child, that very place is where the baptism of transformation happens. The fire does not come to condemn, but to renew. It is the instrument of grace used by my hand to help your soul remember its true nature. For you were not created to decay in fleeting desires or live imprisoned by fear, but to shine like a lamp kindled by my own breath. The trial you face today is not a punishment, it is an invitation. An invitation to go deeper, to live, truer, to love, stronger. The fire of testing does not ask if you are ready. It comes when the appointed time arrives. It burns away every pretense, every disguise, every layer you have built to hide your wounds. Yet when all of it has turned to ash, what remains is your truest self, not the child of fear, but the child of light. You say to me, Lord, why have you allowed me to hurt like this? And I say, my child, I do not allow pain without purpose. Pain is merely the key that unlocks the door you have kept closed for too long. Behind it lies your soul's deepest longing to be seen, to be loved, to be healed. When the fire touches, you do not resist it. Let it burn away the old resentments, the unhealed wounds, the memories that still make you tremble. Let the holy flame do the work that your tears alone cannot do. Do you not know, beloved, that it is within the fire that I am nearest to you? Just as when the 3 Hebrew men were thrown into the blazing furnace, and there was seen a 4th man walking in the fire, whose appearance was like the Son of God. Daniel 3:2-5. So too am I with you. I have never left you in suffering. I only take another form to walk beside you through it. Every time you endure, I am there keeping you from being consumed, transforming you through the flames. The fire never comes by accident. It comes at the precise moment you are ready, though you may not recognize it. It arrives when your soul is strong enough to bear it, deep enough to learn from it, open enough to receive it. Do not ask why me. The answer will always be, because you are chosen. You are chosen to become a witness of strength, of faith, of the light that only those who have passed through fire can understand. I have seen many souls collapse when the fire first touches them. They blame, they run, they beg me to extinguish the flame. But I do not, because if I did, they would remain raw ore, never becoming gold. My child, if only you knew what I am forging within you, resilience, compassion, wisdom, and a love that cannot be shaken, you would embrace the fire rather than fear it. For the fire does not come to destroy you, it comes to make you shine. Look at the candle, it must allow itself to burn, to give light. The flame cannot exist without the surrender of the wax. Likewise, you cannot illuminate the world unless you are willing to let the old self melt away. The fire within you, the flame of faith, of longing, of life, can only rise when you let go of what was. And once it burns, the darkness around you will recede. My child, there are lessons only fire can teach. You cannot learn trust when all things are easy. You cannot learn humility without loss. You cannot learn unconditional love without being wounded. Fire teaches what blessings never could: the strength of endurance and the beauty of unshakable faith. Do not fear when everything within you seems to burn. Do not tremble when you no longer recognize who you are. For in that very moment you are being born again. You are not being consumed. You are being reshaped. Fire burns only what is false, so that you may become lighter, freer, purer. When the flames subside, you will find your soul gleaming like polished metal, reflecting the light of heaven itself. You ask me, when will the fire end? And I answer, when you learn that the fire is not your enemy, but your friend. When you stop fearing it, it loses its power. When you learn to stand still within it, you have already overcome it. For fire can only consume what resists it, but to an open heart, it does not destroy. It warms and illuminates. So let the fire do its sacred work, for beyond the fire waits the dawn. And when you emerge from the furnace, no smoke on your robe, no fear in your eyes, only light in your heart, then I will smile. Because in that moment you will no longer merely be one who has endured the fire, but one who has become the light born from it, my beloved child. Remember, this fire does not last forever. Every pain has its limit, but the fruit it bears is eternal. When the flame dies down, what remains in you is pure gold, something no one can ever take away. And then you will understand why I let you walk through it, because only in the fire do you discover who you truly are, and only in the fire do you come to know who I truly am. The fire of transformation is not meant for you alone, it burns for all humanity. The whole world is passing through a great furnace. Old systems, false values, misplaced faiths are being consumed. Yet do not despair, for the ashes will become the soil of a new season. I am renewing all things not with water but with fire, because only fire can melt the ice that is hardened in the hearts of humankind. In this divine flame I am calling forth those who dare to stand in the midst of it, those who dare to believe, to love, and to shine for others. My child, you are one of them. You were not chosen because you are perfect, but because you were once broken, and it is through that very fracture that light now shines through you. You have known loss, and therefore you can understand and heal. You have known fear, and thus you can teach courage. You have known fire, and thus you can bring warmth to the cold. So do not fear the fire, step into it with trust. Let it make you radiant. When the trial comes, say, Lord, if this is your fire, I am ready to be refined. Let every spark that touches you be a promise that you are being renewed. And when the fire subsides, you will emerge no longer the same, but reborn in light, carrying the fragrance of resurrection. I see within you a flame that cannot be extinguished, the fire of faith, of compassion, of love, tested and proven. Guard it well, for this world needs it now more than ever. As you walk forward, remember, every trial is not a full stop, but a colon opening to a new story, a new season, a new life. O child of fire and light, hear me. All suffering shall pass, but your soul refined through the flame will shine forever. And when you look back one day, you will smile and say, Thank you, Lord, for letting me walk through the fire so I could learn what it means to truly shine. My beloved, peace is not a destination at the end of the road. It is the very road itself, narrow, quiet, yet filled with light, for those who dare to walk it. This path is not paved with fame or comfort, but with faith and trust. Few choose it, for most prefer the broad way where the noise of the world drowns out the voice of the soul. But my child, only on the narrow path can the soul find true peace, a peace that cannot be bought by wealth, shaken by circumstance, or stolen by fear. I know you have tried to find peace elsewhere, in the praises of others, in control, in success, and in relationships. But every time you thought you had grasped it, it slipped away like smoke. Because peace is not the world's gift, it is the fruit of my presence within you. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your heart be troubled, and do not be afraid. John 1:4-7. True peace is not found by avoiding the storm, but by knowing that I am in the midst of it. The narrow road to peace is the road of surrender, not surrender in defeat, but surrender in trust. Peace does not arrive when everything is resolved. It comes when you no longer need everything to go your way. Look at the river. It does not resist the rocks, yet it still finds its course. So too does peace flow, not from control, but from yielding. You have fought for so long, fought to prove, to survive, to be loved, to not be forgotten. But peace is not found in victory. It is found in surrender, not to the world, but to me, the one who breathed peace into your being. When you stop arguing with life, you begin to hear my voice. When you release your grip, your hands become light enough to hold the light. The narrow path is not easy, for it requires you to face yourself. With every step, you will have to lay something down, an illusion, a pride, a wound, or a fear. Yet with each release, you will grow lighter, and the light within you will shine clearer. Peace is not about adding more, but about letting go, less worry, less fear, less control. When you learn to have less, you will find more freedom, more rest, more light. Peace cannot dwell in a heart filled with resentment. It cannot live in a house echoing with complaint and envy. Peace comes when you forgive, when you loosen your grip on the past, and when you let the present become your dwelling place. The past is but memory, the future only illusion. The present moment is the only reality. When you inhabit it fully, you will see that I am here in your breath, in your heartbeat, in every flicker of light within the darkness. Do not think peace means total silence. No, my child, peace can exist even amid noise. It is not the absence of trial, but the strength to stand steady within it. Peace does not depend on what happens outside you, but on the posture of your heart within. When you understand that nothing can separate you from my love, you will begin to walk lightly, even when the ground beneath you trembles. For I am your peace, not at the end of the storm, but in its very heart. And when you choose to walk this narrow path one step at a time, you will discover that peace is never far away. It was within you all along, waiting for you to stop striving and simply rest in me, my beloved child. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. Isaiah 2:6-3. Do you see, my child? The secret of peace is not in avoiding adversity, but in placing your trust wholly in me. When you believe that everything rests in my plan, fear finds no shelter. When you know that my love never changes you, no longer dread loss. When you realize that my grace is boundless, you cease striving to take what has already been given. This narrow road has few travelers, for it requires humility. The world praises the strong, but my kingdom belongs to the meek. The world teaches you to compete, but I teach you to give. The world claims that peace is found through power, but I tell you, it is found through love. When you understand this, you will see that the path I lead you on is not to make you weak, but to set you free. Know this, my child, peace is not a reward for the perfect, but a refuge for the weary. You do not need to prove yourself to be loved by me. You do not need to be flawless to find rest. My peace is not purchased by merit. It is given by grace. It is a gift that waits only for your open hands. When your heart feels tangled, stop, breathe deeply, and remind yourself, I am not here to control. I am here to be present. In doing so, you walk the narrow way. Let every step become a prayer, every breath a hymn. Let the journey cease to be something you must conquer, and instead become the sacred place where you are transformed. Remember, peace does not come in noise, but in stillness. Learn to sit quietly with yourself, not fleeing your emotions, not searching for escape. Let silence tell you what words cannot. In that silence, you will hear my voice, not loud, not harsh, but gentle like wind stirring through the leaves. Peace arrives when you stop speaking and begin to listen. As you walk this narrow road, there will be times when loneliness presses close. But my child, that loneliness is not abandonment. It is separation from the world, not from me. For in solitude you will find that I am nearer than ever before. When no one else remains, you will hear me clearly. When every other source runs dry, you will discover that I am the well that never fails. The path of peace never leads you into noise. It leads you into the still heart of being, where you learn to trust, to love, to release. Every trial becomes a stepping stone. Every tear is a drop of rain washing the way clean. Each time you fall, I extend my hand to lift you. You are not alone. Even when you do not see me, I walk beside you still. One day you will realize something wondrous. Peace is not the destination you reach, it is who you have become. You will cease searching for peace because you are peace. The light within you, refined by years of grace and testing, will become a beacon to others. You will move through life not to avoid the storm, but to teach others how to be still within it. Keep walking this narrow way. It does not promise ease, but it promises truth. It does not spare you from storms, but it ensures that no storm will swallow you whole. And when you reach the end of this path, you will understand that peace is not an idea, peace is me, the one who has been with you from the beginning and who will remain with you until the end of all time. My beloved, you have walked the narrow road, learned to let go, and found peace amid the storm. Now I invite you to take one step further into the highest calling a soul can receive, to become a torch of love and compassion in a world grown cold. For true peace is not meant to be kept, but to be shared. You were not lit to shine alone, but to guide those still wandering in the dark. The love I speak of is not the fragile affection of humankind. It is the eternal flame that burns from my own heart. The love that created the heavens and the earth, endured betrayal, and yet waits patiently for every soul to return. Compassion is the eyes of that love. It sees another's pain without judgment, touches their wounds without fear, and embraces them even before they know how to love in return. When love and compassion meet within you, you become an instrument of light, a torch in the night of this world. The world has grown cold, not for lack of sunlight, but for lack of human warmth. I see hearts closed like locked doors, souls weary, and numbed people chasing illusions of power and success while forgetting tenderness. They no longer weep at another's sorrow nor rejoice in small acts of good. But my child, that is why I call you to keep your flame alive, so that no matter how fierce the wind, it will not go out. However small, however quiet, let it burn pure and steadfast. The love I teach you is not reserved for the deserving. It is love that transcends worthiness. For if you only love those who are easy to love, that love has not yet reached its divine height. Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Matthew 5:4. When you love this way, you touch the heart of divinity itself, where mercy triumphs over resentment, light conquers shadow, and humanity finds its hope again. To become a torch, you must learn to burn, and burning always means being consumed. Love demands that you give. Compassion asks that you kneel. You cannot illuminate if you fear the cost, just as a lamp cannot shine if it refuses to melt. But do not be afraid. When you pour yourself out, I will refill you. When you grow weak, I will uphold you. When you feel spent, I will breathe life into the flame you thought had died. Let your heart become a sanctuary of kindness. When you meet one who suffers, do not only say, I will pray for you, take their hand. When you see someone stumble, do not condemn. Remember, they are bound by darkness just as you once were. When you see one abandoned, do not turn away, for I am there, trembling, waiting for you to come. Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. Matthew 2:5-40. The world has grown used to words, but what it needs now is action. Let your life itself become the message. Let every gesture, every glance, every word reflect my love. When you help without seeking recognition, when you forgive without expecting return, when you choose to believe in goodness, even as the world mocks it, that is when you shine brightest. To carry light, you must learn to walk through darkness without letting darkness enter you. You will go where love seems to have died, where hearts are shut, where hatred reigns, and there you must keep your torch alive. Do not seek to be understood or to be thanked. Love for my sake, not theirs. For true love needs no reason, only its source. And that source, my child, is me, my beloved child. There will come a time when you grow weary. There will be days when the flame in your heart flickers low, when all that you've given seems to vanish into nothingness, when kindness is taken for granted and sincerity is met with doubt. When that time comes, my child, return to me. Let me be the wind that rekindles your flame. Sit quietly and allow me to remind you why you began, because this world needs light and you were born to bear it. Compassion is not a sign of weakness, it is the evidence of true strength. Only those who have been wounded know how to feel deeply for others. The very wounds within you are the windows through which my light passes. Do not hide them. Let them testify that you have loved, endured, and still believe. Those who have never suffered may speak of kindness, but only those who have been healed can offer it from the depths of the heart. Look upon the world with my eyes. When you see an angry person, see the fear inside them. When you meet someone proud, recognize the frightened child trying to hide. When you encounter selfishness, remember that such a soul has never known how to be loved rightly. Compassion teaches you not to react, but to respond. It allows you to see people not by their actions, but by the divine potential I placed within them. When you look through the eyes of compassion, you no longer see enemies, you see lost souls longing to come home. True love is not loud, not hurried, not in need of proof. It is like the light of dawn, gentle yet strong enough to melt the frost of the night. Love like that, my child, quietly, steadfastly, faithfully. Do not try to change the world through power, change it through kindness. Do not strive to be remembered, strive to leave traces of goodness wherever you go. For true light makes no noise, yet everything it touches is transformed. Do not fear when compassion makes you tender in a hardened world. That very tenderness is your greatest strength, for water always wears down stone, wind reshapes mountains, and love always conquers hate. When you choose love, you do not lose. You win in the way that endures forever, by peace, by healing, by faith in the goodness that still remains. One day you will look back and realize that the light within you has touched far more hearts than you ever imagined. A gentle word, a small gesture, a compassionate gaze, each holds the power to change the world even when you cannot see it. So never believe your love is in vain. No drop of water is wasted in the ocean, and no act of kindness is ever forgotten in heaven's memory. Keep loving even when you are hurt. Keep giving even when you feel empty. Keep believing even when you see no result. For that is how the torch continues to burn, not by your strength, but by the flame I have kindled in your heart. I tell you this, my beloved, when you love with compassion, you do more than bring light to the world. You yourself become a star in the night sky. That light will never fade, for it does not belong to the earth. It belongs to eternity. Carry that torch forward, gentle, yet steady, humble, yet radiant. For every step you take in love is a step of heaven advancing upon the earth. My precious one, now that you have learned to walk in peace and carry the torch of love, I want you to understand the next step of the journey of light, to let that light become your legacy. Not a legacy of fame or achievement, but a legacy of the soul's radiance, a light that continues to shine long after your breath has blended with the wind. For every soul that is illuminated does not live for itself alone. It is a candle passed from hand to hand, from heart to heart, until the whole world glows with love. From the very beginning I planted a spark within you, a fragment of my divine fire, the seed of your soul, a flame that nothing in this world can extinguish. It may be buried under fear, dulled by pain, or forgotten amid the noise of life, but it is never lost. When you return to yourself, when you let love and compassion become your very breath, that spark will ignite once more. And in that moment you will remember who you truly are, a child of light, a child of mine. There will always be darkness in this world, my child, but darkness cannot swallow light, not even the smallest spark. You do not need to illuminate the whole sky, you only need to keep your candle from going out. And I tell you this, your light is enough to soften a corner of the world. For light has its own way, it spreads, It touches unseen places. It travels farther than your words and deeds could ever reach. You may think yourself small, that your life is too insignificant to make a difference. But my beloved, do you not see? Every sunrise begins with a single ray. Every great fire begins with one spark. Every redeemed soul begins with one simple choice: to love, to believe, to forgive, to rise again. And when you choose light, even once all of heaven rejoices. Let your life become a song of light. Do not let old wounds make you bitter. Let them bear witness that light is stronger than darkness, that grace is greater than ruin. Tell your story not to seek pity, but to give hope. For somewhere someone is waiting to hear it so they can believe they too can stand again. As you walk with light, you will meet those lost in the night. They may not trust you, they may resist you, but do not let that dim your flame. Keep shining, not through words but through presence. When you are there, the air grows warmer. When you speak, hearts grow softer. When you are silent, others still find peace. For true light does not need to shout. It simply exists, and by its existence, darkness retreats. Do not fear if your light unsettles others. Darkness always resists what it cannot comprehend. But remember, light does not argue with darkness, it simply shines. Do not try to prove, just be. When you live authentically, your light speaks for itself. And even if some turn away, keep loving, for love is never wasted. Every seed of goodness you plant, even in barren soil, carries within it the power to bloom when spring returns. Do not let fear cause you to close your heart. Every time you shut yourself off, a piece of your light is imprisoned. Live open, even if it makes you vulnerable. A closed heart may feel safe, but it will never shine. True peace is not found in avoiding pain, but in knowing that even when you are wounded, the light within you will never go out. My child, living in the light does not mean the end of pain. In truth, those who carry the light are the ones who feel most deeply the suffering of humankind. You will weep over what others do not notice, ache at indifference, and lie awake over injustice. But do not let these things harden you. Let them teach you to love more. For the light was not made to avoid the darkness, but to enter it. When you bear this light, remember that no one is called to walk alone. This light is handed on through community, through souls who kindle one another. When two are of one accord, the light doubles. When a company loves together, the darkness is pushed back. And when humanity prays as one, the very heavens are stirred. You are not alone on this journey, my child. Seek those who share the light, who resonate with you, who long for the good, and together build a new world, not by sword and spear, but by compassion. Know that the legacy of light is not measured by length of days, but by impact. There are souls whose presence lasts only a brief moment, yet the light they leave continues to shine across centuries. You may never know all those who were touched by your life, but I know. And I remember every small thing you do for love, a word of comfort, a smile, an embrace, a word of forgiveness. All of it is written into the covenant of eternity. When the light within you grows strong enough, it not only illumines others, it leads you home. For light always knows the way back to its source. You do not need to seek me far away. I am within that very light. When you love, you are in me. When you forgive, I live in you. When you are kind, you are one with the will of heaven. Keep the light within you by nourishing your soul each day. Seek stillness to listen, pray to be filled. Be grateful, so the light will not fade. Forgive, so the stream within you is not dammed. And love, so that light may spread without end. And one day, looking back, you will see that this life, with its tears, its wounds, its missteps, is wonderfully beautiful, because within it the light was born. You will understand that every road, every trial, every fall led you to this moment, the moment you became light. I bless you. Continue your journey, gentle, humble, yet radiant. Let your life become a witness that light always triumphs over darkness, that love always finds its way home, and that the soul was born to shine. For when you live thus, you not only fulfill your own life, you are fulfilling a part of my eternal design. My beloved, the time has come to understand that the journey of light is not yours alone. That light once kindled in each soul joins with the light of countless others, and together they become a great flame of humanity, a sacred symphony, where every heart beats to the rhythm of love, of unity, of compassion. Then prayer is no longer the voice of one person, but the very breath of humankind turned toward the Creator. I behold this world where people live side by side, yet remain distant at heart, where there are many words but little listening, where gathering is easy but understanding is hard. I hear scattered prayers, each turned toward a separate wish. Some ask for wealth, others for fame, one for comfort, another for vengeance. But my child, true prayer does not begin with grant to me, but with grant to us. For when you can pray for others before yourself, your heart has touched the heartbeat of heaven. When humanity bows together, when millions of souls whisper the same plea, when their eyes turn toward the same light, then I am present at their center. For I do not dwell in temples of stone, but in hearts that know how to love. I do not seek a perfect song, but an honest sigh. When one person prays with humility, heaven grows quiet to listen. And when humanity prays with one heart, the skies begin to tremble. Do not think your prayer is small among billions of voices. A single drop ripples the lake. A single breath moves the air. And one sincere prayer can alter the course of history. When you pray not for yourself but for others, for the hungry, the sick, the suffering, the lost, that prayer bears boundless power. For love has no borders, and your soul, when it is steeped in compassion, can touch souls 1,000 miles away. There are prayers that need not be spoken, only lived. When you help someone in secret, when you forgive, though wounded, when you plant a smile upon another's face, you are praying with your very life. Such prayers do not pass the lips, but they resound through the universe. For I do not count the times you kneel. I measure the breadth of your heart. When you pray, let your heart beat in rhythm with the hearts of others. Imagine humanity as one great body, each person a cell with its own cadence. If each cell lives for itself, the body falls apart. But if each lives for the whole, life grows strong, enduring, and rich with creativity. When humanity understands this, when they live for one another, pray for one another, a new era will open, an era of light and of mercy. There are moments in history when darkness seems to prevail, war, hatred, disease, division, cruelty. But I tell you, my child, no night has ever lasted forever. Each time humanity turns together toward the light, each time a broken heart is healed by love, each time someone chooses forgiveness over revenge, my dawn draws near again. And that dawn does not begin in the sky, but in the human heart. My child, collective prayer holds a power beyond your measuring. Where 2 or 3 gather in my name, I am among them. But when millions gather in the name of love, all heaven opens wide. Then I do not merely hear, I act. For I do not work miracles through storms of fire, but through hearts set ablaze. When you pray for peace, do not think only of borders, think of homes. When you pray for the healing of the world, do not forget the healing within yourself. When you pray for light to spread, do not forget to cleanse the darkness within your own heart. For peace does not begin in a parliament, but in a family, not with a flag, but at the table, not in a speech, but in a small act of forgiveness between 2 people. When humanity prays together, let that prayer become the hymn of compassion. Pray for the one who does not know, for the one who does not understand, and even for the one who once wounded you. For only then does love find its true meaning. To pray for those who hurt you is the summit of faith, for it declares that you trust in me more than you trust in your own pain. And when you do so, Heaven weeps not with sorrow, but with joy, because once again light has triumphed. I want you to see that humanity never loses hope. Even when the world sinks into chaos, there are still souls praying in silence. A mother praying beside her child's bed, an old man whispering in a dim room, a little child murmuring before sleep. These prayers rise and meet in the air, blending like fragrance before my throne. From them I weave miracles. When you pray, do not seek only answers. Seek my presence. Do not expect everything to change at once, for prayer does not always change the world, but it always changes you. And when you change, the world shifts with you. Prayer is learning to trust when you cannot see, to love when you do not understand, to persevere even while the night remains dark. Beloved, never stop praying, for every prayer is a heartbeat of eternity. When you pray with all your heart, you are co-creating the world with me. You are pushing back the darkness and rebuilding the bridge between heaven and earth. Even when you cannot see it, every time you say, "Father, let your will be done," angels record it, and the universe bows in reverence. Now I invite you to pray with me, not only for yourself, but for all humankind. Pray for those who are suffering, for those who have lost faith, for those who fight their silent battles. Pray that the world may learn again how to love, how to forgive, how to live truthfully with one another. And when you whisper simply, "Let your light shine everywhere," that light will begin to spread from your heart through your words, through your deeds, until there is no shadow left in the world. My beloved child, when you understand that prayer is the breath of the soul, I want you to take one step deeper. Turn prayer into action. For prayer is not only speaking to heaven, it is inviting heaven to enter your life. Every word you say to me must carry the weight of an action that follows, for faith cannot dwell only on the lips. It must be proven through living love. As James 2:1-7 declares, faith without works is dead. Do not merely wait for heaven to send peace, become the one who plants it. When you pray for healing in the world, let your own hands become the hands of healing. When you pray for love to spread, begin by loving the person next to you. That is how prayer becomes reality, how the light of heaven descends upon the earth. For heaven is not far away, it begins in a heart that knows how to love and hands that know how to do good. My child, many pray without truly believing. They speak holy words, yet their hearts are filled with doubt. They ask for miracles, but are unwilling to become miracles for others. But I tell you, the most powerful prayer is not measured by length or beauty of speech, but by willingness to live it out. When you are ready to become the answer to your own prayer, then you are living in my will. I did not create you merely to observe the world, but to help transform it. Every small act, every choice of kindness, every silent mercy is a prayer being fulfilled. When you give someone a smile in their despair, when you forgive while your heart still bleeds, when you share even in your lack, that is when your prayer leaves your lips and steps into life. Look around you, so many are waiting for a prayer to take form through action. There are hungry children who no longer need more words, they need a hand that gives. There are lonely elders who no longer need talk of love, they need someone to sit beside them. There are broken souls who need not a sermon but an embrace. And when you act like this, your prayer becomes visible. My love becomes alive among humankind. When you pray, do not separate it from action. Prayer is the seed, action is the fertile soil. The seed cannot grow unless it is planted. Many pray for the world but refuse to begin with themselves. They desire light but still nurture darkness in their hearts. They pray for peace but cling to anger. They ask for love but withhold forgiveness. Remember, my child, no one can give what they do not possess. Let prayer first transform you, and from you it will transform the world. There will be times when your prayers seem unanswered. You will doubt, you will cry out, "Lord, where are you when I pray?" But my child, I am there in your hands stretched out to help in your feet, walking the extra mile in every loving act you continue to do, though unseen. That is the evidence of true faith, not spoken by reason, but lived through your life. I recall the words of the prophet Isaiah, "I have called you to be a light to the nations." Isaiah 4:2-6. When you love, you fulfill that calling. When you give, you cooperate with heaven. When you lift up one who has fallen, you rebuild my temple within humanity itself. Do not wait for miracles from afar. You are the miracle the world needs. My child, there are prayers that only hands can speak. A hand that wipes a tear, a hand that lifts the weary, a hand that shares bread, a hand that steadies the fallen. These are the holiest prayers. When you act in love, I hear you without words, for loving deeds have a language of their own, a language heaven understands better than speech. When you love through your hands, you are writing prayers with your actions. When you love through your feet, you are carrying blessings where they are needed most. When you love through your heart, you are bringing me into the world. For I do not appear in distant clouds, but among those who dare to love, to sacrifice, to believe that goodness can still bloom amid the ruins. Some say the world is too cruel to change. But remember this, my child, darkness can never extinguish light unless the light chooses to die. You cannot save everyone, but you can touch one soul. And if each person touches just one more, soon the whole world will be touched by love. Every miracle begins with one small act. At times you will have to love in loneliness. Some will not understand you, some will doubt you, some will say what you do is useless. But remember, you do not love to be understood, you love to resemble me. You do not help to be praised. You help because you carry within you a love that cannot be contained. And in every small act you do, heaven smiles. For I see all that you do in secret, and I remember. When you look at the world through eyes of compassion, every place you walk becomes holy ground. For where love dwells, there I am. When you bring bread to the hungry, you stand among angels. When you restore hope to the broken, you sing with me the hymn of redemption. My child, pray with your whole life. Let every breath be a word of gratitude, every smile a blessing, every act a prayer. Do not divide the sacred from the ordinary, for wherever love abides, holiness is present. When you work, do it as if you were serving me. When you love, love as if I were looking through your eyes. When you forgive, forgive as if I myself were doing it through you. And then you will see the true miracle, not the kind that shakes the heavens and the earth, but the quiet one that transforms the human heart. You will see light spreading, gentle yet unstoppable. And when you look back, you will understand that every prayer you ever offered has been answered not by the change of circumstance, but by the change within you. I want you to understand, this prayer and action are never separate. A soul that truly prays will always act, and a soul that acts out of love is always praying. When you unite the two, you become a river of grace, flowing through the deserts of the world, bringing life where there was death. And when that water touches the earth, flowers bloom. When you touch another with kindness, hearts come back to life. I do not ask you to be great. I ask you to be genuine. You need not do mighty deeds, only small things with great love. For I do not measure by the scale of your actions, but by the purity of your motives. Every deed done in silence, every offering made with a clean heart, all of it rises straight to heaven like the fragrance of faithfulness. No act of love is ever forgotten. No tear falls in vain. No kindness disappears into the void. All are written into the eternal symphony of love, the song that I and my angels sing, whenever a soul chooses love over fear, forgiveness over hatred, and action over apathy. My child, go and do this. Let your prayer become the rhythm of your hands, your steps, your heart. Live as a prayer being sung in the midst of life, so that everyone who meets you may feel my love through you. Then you will no longer merely be someone who prays, you will become the prayer itself, written by me in the breath of grace. My beloved child, hear me speak about the power of collective prayer when humanity no longer prays alone but joins in one voice, one faith, one love. For when the souls of humankind lift their cry together toward me, heaven and earth move as one. Do you remember long ago, when the first people on earth lifted their eyes to the sky and called upon my name? They did not know scripture, nor understand theology. They had no temples or cathedrals, only one thing, faith. Together they cried, Lord, have mercy on us. And in that moment, heaven stood still, the clouds ceased to drift, for that prayer came not from one person, but from the collective heart of humanity. When people pray in unity, the boundaries between them fade. There is no longer I and you, they and us, no longer divisions of creed or nation. All become one breath of the soul reaching toward the same light. I do not hear prayer through language. I hear it through the frequency of faith and love. And when many hearts vibrate on the same frequency, that resonance pierces through every heaven and trembles before the eternal throne. Humanity has forgotten the power of unity. They pray in fragments, each one in their own direction, each voice carrying a separate desire, and so their energy scatters. But when people turn together toward the light, when they pray for peace, for compassion, for the awakening of the world, their strength becomes immeasurable. It is like countless drops forming an ocean or solitary stars merging into the radiance of the Milky Way. I tell you, this one sincere prayer can shake a soul, but a million united prayers can shake the world. When millions of hearts cry out for light, the angels move. When millions of souls pray for peace, violence retreats. When millions bow their heads in love, the world begins to rise again. You may think that prayer cannot change anything, that the world is too vast and you are too small. But remember, my child, every collective miracle begins with a single heart that dares to believe. When you pray, your flame connects to another's flame, and then another and another, until the world glows with the fire of millions of lights that cannot be extinguished. I have seen these moments throughout history, when humanity prayed together in crisis, when men laid down their weapons to hold hands, when cries turned into songs and darkness found no place to hide. In those moments I was most present, not in grand rituals, but in that shared breath when humankind whispered together, "Let this world be at peace." Collective prayer is not merely a spiritual act, it is the breath of collective life. It teaches you that you are not alone, that your pain is shared, that your faith is upheld by millions of souls also reaching toward me. Every time humanity prays together, their energy intertwines into a vast river of light that covers the earth like a garment of hope. And I say this to you, no prayer is ever lost, no matter how small. If one person prays in solitude, I hear. If 10 pray in unity, I act. But if nations lift their voices as one, I will renew the face of the earth. For then prayer is no longer mere words. It becomes the creative current of heaven itself, reshaping the world through love. Do you know why I asked you to love your enemies? Because I want your prayer to remain whole. A prayer laced with hatred cannot rise, but a prayer of mercy can pierce every heaven. When you pray for another's peace, you open the door for your own. When you bless the one who hurt you, I double that blessing within your soul. There are moments when the world trembles on the edge of despair, when wars rage, when plagues spread, when the earth groans in pain. But I tell you, my child, I have never left the world. I am still here waiting for humanity to pray together, not out of fear, but out of love. Not for themselves alone, but for all. For only when humankind turns toward the light together will they truly see one another in that same light. When you pray with others, you create a current of healing energy. Every word you speak, every breath you exhale, every tear you shed out of compassion, all of it merges into the ocean of kindness. From that ocean I draw new waves to pour grace upon the world. That is why I tell you, do not pray alone if you can pray with another. For when 2 souls turn toward me, heaven shines brighter than a single star. When humanity learns to pray with love without dividing by religion or title, they will understand that I have never been divided. Every path leads to me if it is walked with humility, It is a path of light. Every prayer, if lifted in love, reaches heaven. People have built too many walls of prejudice, but a sincere prayer is the bridge that crosses them all. Imagine a day when millions lift their eyes to the sky and whisper together, "May your light cover the world." Imagine the songs of the nations, different languages. One heartbeat, the heartbeat of hope. Imagine hands once clenched in hatred now opening to hold one another. Then war will fall silent, the earth will breathe softly, and the rivers will sing. That is the day I long for, the day humanity remembers. They are one family, the family of light. If you ask me, Lord, can such a thing be, I will answer, it begins with you. It begins when you pray not only with your lips but with your heart. When you pray for the whole world as if you were praying for yourself. When you believe that each of your prayers can reach the ends of the earth. From there a wave rises, a movement begins, and humanity slowly finds one another again in the light. Remember, a single prayer can stir the heavens, but many prayers united will open the gates of eternity. Then I will come not only to individuals, but I will dwell among all humanity like a sacred flame that never goes out. My beloved, the power of prayer lies not only in the sound from the lips, but in the resonance of the soul. When multitudes lift their voices, I do not merely hear an echo, I feel the vibration of light spreading through the universe. It is this very unity, when people turn toward one source, ask for life together, breathe, with the breath of love that opens sacred gates no earthly power can shut. The world is not lifted by human strength, but by the waves of sincere prayer. When people kneel, they are not weak, they are rising. When they bow together, they are not submitting, they are being exalted. For in humility the soul attains greatness. And in the moment when humanity prays together, a wonder occurs, the world trembles to the heartbeat of heaven. Look back through history, not with the eyes of mere knowledge, but with the gaze of the soul. Every time darkness thickened and people seemed to lose their way, prayers rose up not from one place, but from everywhere. From a mother's simple room, from the temple, where a beggar bowed his head, from the blood-soaked battlefield where someone whispered, "Save us," and these very whispers, like seeds falling into the earth, sprouted into miracles. For I never let a prayer fall into the void. When people unite, that sacred energy does not merely spread around them, it changes the fabric of reality. Every thought, every breath, every loving word issued from a soul connected to me helps recreate the world. That is why I said, "The kingdom of God is among you." Luke 1:7-1, heaven is not far off. It is found in the harmony of hearts that know how to pray and to act in the light. Imagine a world where people pray, not out of fear but out of gratitude. Not to be rescued, but to be offered. Then no prayer will be laced with despair. All will become a hymn of hope. The skies will be brighter, the earth gentler, because people will have remembered who they are, rays of my own light. When I look upon the world today, I see both light and darkness contending. But I do not fear, for I know light cannot lose. Every soul that knows how to pray is a flame burning in the long night. Every heart turned toward goodness is a candle lighting the path home. Though the winds of life blow hard, that light spreads still, for it is not sustained by human strength, but nourished by my love. When people pray together, boundaries blur. No religion stands higher, no language more important. There remains only the frequency of love where all souls become one. Then prayer no longer belongs to a group, it belongs to humanity. And that is the moment I descend, not in form, but in presence. I want you to understand that collective prayer does more than change the earth's atmosphere. It purifies the energy of each heart. When millions of souls pray together, space vibrates with the sound of forgiveness. The sky grows clearer, hearts grow calmer, and tears become streams of healing. In that great wave, lost souls are found, stony hearts grow soft, and old wounds are washed clean by the light of mercy. I see every tear that falls in prayer, none is wasted. Each becomes a shining pearl upon the robe of eternity. Every sincere prayer becomes a brick in the foundation of a new world. For prayer does not only ascend, it descends like rain grace, soaking the parched soil of the human heart. Some souls think prayer is weakness, an escape from reality. My child, that is a misunderstanding. Prayer is the strongest act, for it does not fight the world, it transforms it. When you pray, you are not fleeing reality, you are rewriting it. You are drawing forth the creative current of the Most High. And when millions do this together, the world cannot remain unchanged. Let shared prayer become humanity's daily right. Each morning at sunrise, let the nations look to the east and say, "Let your light shine upon the whole world." Each evening at dusk, let every soul whisper to the Endi, "Thank you that today we lived, we loved, we were forgiven." Then every day will become a cycle of grace, where the world is continuously cleansed, renewed, and lifted up. Every common prayer is written into the sacred score of eternity, a symphony woven of the breath, the tears, and the faith of millions. The angels sing along, the universe harmonizes, and my heart rejoices. For in that moment I am not a distant creator, but a father hearing the voices of his children, drawing them into his embrace, and saying, "I am here." Believe, my child, that the world can be lifted not by sword and spear, but by prayer, not by power, but by the unity of hearts. One praying heart can stir the heavens. Millions of praying hearts at once can open the doors of eternity. This is the power of love, the only energy capable of renewing the universe. I tell you this as an unchanging promise. If one day humanity prays with a single heart, not out of fear, but out of love, the earth will be made new. The seas will grow gentle, the sky will brighten, and people will look upon one another, not with suspicion, but with the eyes of brothers and sisters. Then prayer will no longer be a ritual. It will become the natural breathing of life, and the world will step into an age of light. Continue to pray unceasing, undaunted. Teach others to pray not by words, but by the way you live. Let every action be a petition, every smile a hymn, every look a message of mercy. And as you do, you will see the world has already been lifted, not by a miracle from above, but by prayers rising from the human heart. My child, humanity's prayer is the symphony echoing through the universe. And every time you raise your voice, you are singing with heaven. Keep that rhythm. Spread it wide until every soul joins the same refrain. Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace to people of good will. Luke 2:1-4. Then the world will be reborn, and my light will shine through the very breath of creation. My beloved child, when humanity has lifted its united voice in prayer, when countless hearts have begun to beat as one, then a new era is dawning, the dawn of the awakened soul. This is not merely a change of times, but the awakening of the deepest essence within humankind. The soul that knows it belongs to light, that it was created to reflect the glory of heaven right here on earth. This dawn is not loud. It does not come with thunder or the trumpets of men, but softly, as breath warm as the first rays of morning, yet powerful enough to drive away the darkness that has covered humanity for centuries. My child, I have seen generations come and go, each bearing pain, war, ruin, and countless prayers. But now something different is happening. People no longer pray merely to be saved, but to become instruments of salvation. They no longer wait for miracles from without, for they have discovered that the miracle lives within, where my light dwells. The world you see today, my child, is shifting. The tremors in the earth, the changes in climate, the awakenings in spirit, these are not endings, but the labor pains of new creation. Like a mother in travail, the earth trembles to bring forth a new age, one where the human soul is refined, purified, and awakened. It is the age of light, where goodness no longer hides in the shadows, where humanity no longer lives merely to survive, but to love, to forgive, and to create with me. Open your heart and look, my child. Do you see it? Everywhere light is rising from places once thought hopeless. In ruined cities, someone is kneeling to pray. In closed hearts, love is returning. In hardened souls, the first tear of repentance is falling, and that very tear is the sign of rebirth. Micah 7:8 says, "Though I have fallen, I will rise. Though I sit in darkness, the Lord will be my light." My child, this is the spirit of the new age, the time of those who have fallen but do not stay down, who have been wounded but still love, who have been surrounded by darkness yet refuse to let the light within them die. The new world will not be built by the flawless, but by those who have learned to rise from the ruins and share the light they have found. Do not fear when you see the world trembling. Change always comes with trial. But remember, only when the seed breaks can life sprout. Only when the night is long can the dawn be radiant. And only when the soul is tested in fire can its true nature appear light that cannot be consumed, but shines brighter still. The dawn of the new soul begins with a deep realization that each person is no longer an isolated being, but part of a divine whole. When you wound another, you wound yourself. When you love another, you heal the entire body. And when you pray for the world, that prayer returns as light into your own soul. This is the sacred law of unity, the law upon which the new world will be built. Remember, light is not only to be seen, it is to be lived. When your soul burns bright, everything around you begins to transform. Broken relationships, forgotten dreams, all can be restored when you live in the frequency of love. For love is the only language understood by all creation and the only melody I sing across the universe. You will see that the new world no longer revolves around power, but around connection. It will no longer exalt the self, but the community. It will not fear difference, but rejoice in diversity. In that age, people will no longer ask, "What do I possess?" but "What can I give?" They will seek not to own, but to share. And in that place I will dwell among them, not in temples of gold, but in hearts that love without condition. I have planted within every soul a seed of light, and now the harvest has come. What was once hidden in darkness will be brought into light. What was once closed will open. What was once dead will live again. This is the law of life: to die in order to be reborn, to lose in order to be found, to let go in order to be filled. The old is being shed like a serpent, casting off its skin, like the earth cracking open for new growth, like a soul washed clean in the waters of grace. You are part of this great process. Do not think you are only a drop in the ocean. You are the drop that reflects the sky. You are a living cell within the divine body being reborn. When you live with kindness, you are building a new world. When you forgive, you open the gate of dawn. When you pray, you are painting the sky anew. In this era, there will be forerunners, the bearers of fire. They do not come to judge, but to illuminate, not to rule, but to serve. They will carry light in their eyes, peace in their voices, and compassion in their every act. You may not know them by title or position, but you will know them when you meet them, for when you are near them, you will feel near to me. The dawn of the new soul does not arise from grand gestures. It begins with the smallest acts: a smile to a stranger, a forgiveness without reason, a silent prayer for the one who caused you pain. These are the threads weaving the great tapestry of light over the earth, and I am watching, blessing, guiding. When you see the sunrise, know that each day is a chance to begin again. When you see a flower bloom, remember that beauty always pushes its way up from the soil. When you hear a child laugh, know that hope is still alive. And when you place your hand over your heart, understand that each beat is proof that I live within you. I say this as an unchanging promise light never loses, and in this new era, no one will be left behind. Every soul, no matter how lost, how fallen, will have a chance to return. This dawn is for all, excluding none. For my love knows no boundaries. and my grace knows no end. Therefore, step out from the shadows of the past and lift your head toward the light. Let your heart melt in my love. Let your soul become soft like new soil, ready for the seeds of hope to be sown. And when you live this way, you do not merely welcome the dawn, you become the dawn. Let the light within you shine into this world, like a lamp in the night, a flower in the desert, a song in the silence. For when you live this way, you are declaring that the darkness has passed and the light has come. My beloved, you have seen the dawn of the new soul rising. But for that light to fill the whole earth, the hearts of humanity must be purified by the fire of the Spirit. Not a fire that destroys, but a fire that renews. A fire of grace, of love, that comes to burn away illusion, sin, and old bondage, so that the soul may be refined like pure gold in the hands of the master craftsman. This world cannot enter the era of light while the heart still carries the ashes of hatred, greed, and fear. The fire of the Spirit is my divine intervention, not to punish but to cleanse. Just as the potter places clay in the furnace to make it strong and useful, so I allow humanity to pass through fire, that falsehood may be burned away, and only truth remains pure, radiant love. Many fear this fire because they do not understand it. They see the world trembling, the old collapsing, and they think, I am angry. But my child, I am not angry, I am refining. When I stir the earth, it is to remove the dust that has covered the human soul. When I shake what seems unshakable, it is so you may see what is real and what is an illusion. Because I love you, I will not let you live forever in deceit. Remember this. My fire and my love are one. My love is not only gentle, it is powerful, penetrating, uncompromising. It demands utter honesty. Therefore, when I come as fire, I come to burn away everything that keeps your soul from being whole: pride, hypocrisy, indifference, and the fear that makes you forget who you are. Scripture says he will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. He will purify the sons of Levi and refine them like gold and silver, so that they may present offerings to the Lord in righteousness. Malachi 3:3. My child, that is what is happening now. I am refining humanity. I am igniting the fire of awareness, so they may see themselves clearly, see both their wounds and the healing that lies within them. This fire is not only around you, it burns within. When your heart feels stirred, when the things you once trusted begin to fall apart, when the world no longer feels safe, that is the sign that the fire is at work. It is cleansing, dismantling to rebuild, taking away to give something better. For nothing is taken from you that I do not intend to replace with something greater. The fire of the Spirit comes to distinguish truth from falsehood, light from shadow, genuine love from counterfeit desire. It brings you face to face with yourself. No more hiding, no more blame. It shines into every corner of your soul, even the ones you fear to see, so that you may face them, release them, and be healed. That is the fire of truth. And only when the soul dares to stand in truth can it live in freedom. Do not run from this fire, my child, for even if you flee, it will follow not to destroy, but to deliver. When you feel pain as you face your faults, know that I am cleansing you. When you weep as you let go, know that I am softening your heart. When you feel stripped bare before truth, remember it is in that nakedness that you are clothed in light. True renewal does not begin when the world changes outwardly, but when the heart is purified within. When your soul is refined, your vision of the world changes. What once frightened you will lose its power. What once wounded you will become a lesson of grace. Wounds that once bled will become shining scars, proof that you have been healed. I know fire is not comfortable, but remember everything eternal is forged in fire. Diamonds are born from pressure, pure gold emerges from the furnace. Likewise, the strongest souls are those who have passed through fire and still kept love. And I tell you, the new world will be built by such souls, those who have burned, yet not been consumed, who have lost yet found themselves again in the light. As the fire of the Spirit spreads, you will see the old begin to crumble: systems, ideologies, false values. Do not be afraid, knowing that I am rebuilding the foundation. Whatever is built on deception cannot stand, but what is built on love will endure forever. My child, when you see chaos spreading, pray, but do not pray for the fire to stop. Pray that it burns where it must to consume the old and make room for the new. Understand that purification is not punishment, it is preparation. Like the gardener pruning dead branches, so the tree may bear fruit. I am pruning your soul so you may flourish. You may feel loss, but in truth you are expanding. You may feel pain, but it is the pain of transformation, the pain of birth, not of death. As humanity passes through this fire, you will see them change. The hard-hearted becoming tender, the proud becoming humble, the indifferent learning to weep, and the cold learning to love. These are the signs of renewal, not thunder, not storms, but awakened hearts, opened eyes and souls, returning to the source of light. You may ask, Lord, when will this fire end? And I say, when love becomes so great that fire is no longer needed. When humanity learns to love as I love, the fire will turn into light, not burning, but illuminating. Until that day, let the fire continue its work. For I never burn what I do not intend to resurrect in a better form. Do not fear the fire of the Spirit, my child. Invite it in. Pray for it to burn within you, that all which does not belong to light may be cast away. Say to me, Lord, purify me with your fire. Burn away all deceit, all narrow ambition, all fear that keeps me from love. Let me burn not to perish but to shine. When you pray thus, I will act. And when that fire has finished its work, you will find your soul lighter, brighter, freer. You will understand that everything you once feared to lose was only the shell around your sacred pearl. And when that shell breaks, the light within finally shines forth. I do not look at you from afar, I am with you in the fire, as I was with the 3 friends of Daniel in the furnace long ago. This fire will not harm you, it will only burn away your chains. And when you emerge, you will bear no smell of smoke, only the radiance and strength of a soul refined in light. Therefore let the fire of the Spirit keep burning within you, within humanity, within this world. Do not fear the darkness, for it is in the deepest night that the flame shines brightest. Look ahead, for beyond the fire lies the dawn of renewal, a purer earth, a gentler humanity, and a future illuminated by my love. My beloved child, when the fire of the Spirit has burned away the ashes of the past, when your soul has been refined, and the heart of humanity has softened in the light of truth, then the sacred moment arrives, the moment of return, when light joins with light, when soul and heaven unite in one divine breath. This is the destination of the entire journey. I have led you through a journey, not merely for you to find me, but to realize that I have never left you. My child, returning is not a voyage through space. It is an awakening of the Spirit. You do not need to walk toward heaven, you only need to open your eyes and see that heaven has always surrounded you in every breath, in every tear, in every person you meet. When you are purified by fire, your spiritual eyes become clear, and you begin to see me everywhere in the morning, light in the dew upon the leaves, in the smile of a stranger, in the stillness of the night. Everything bears my imprint, for I am the source of all that exists. When the soul returns, you will understand that separation never truly existed. What you call distance was only the mist of forgetfulness. From the beginning, I placed within you a fragment of eternity, and that fragment has always reached for me, as flame reaches for the sky. You may wander, suffer, forget, but that light never dies. And now, refined through the fire, the light within you merges with mine, and this union, this oneness, is heaven itself. I am not inviting you to a distant place, but to a state of being, where every limit dissolves, where every fear is transformed, where love is the air you breathe, and peace is the pulse of the universe. There you will no longer ask, "Who am I?" For you will know I, and you are one. There you will no longer pray for answers, for you will have merged with the source of every answer. There you will no longer seek, for you will have found everything in my presence. I know your journey has not been easy. You have walked through long nights, faced trials, shed tears you thought would never dry. You have fallen, doubted, and believed yourself abandoned. Yet these very moments have forged your strength. For only a soul that has walked through darkness can truly treasure the light. And now that you have returned, I do not see your failures. I see the radiant brilliance of a soul reborn. The return of light is not merely personal redemption. It is the reunion of all creation. When one soul returns, the entire universe rejoices. When one person forgives, thousands of chains are broken. When one heart opens, millions more are touched. For all are bound together by the invisible thread of my love. No prayer stands alone, no soul stands isolated. When one returns, their light becomes a beacon for others. Behold, light is flooding the earth. I see the souls who once feared now walking in faith. I see those who once suffered now becoming healers. I see hearts once closed now embracing the world. This is the return of light, the proof that love has triumphed, that I am still here, and that the dawn of the soul has truly begun. When your soul is united with heaven, you will no longer see the world with mortal eyes, but with the eyes of understanding. You will see grace even in pain, purpose even in loss, and my hand even in what seems random. Every event will become sacred, for you will know that nothing lies outside the design of love. In this union, you will find true freedom. Not the freedom to do as you will, but the freedom from the self. You will no longer strive to be seen, nor fear being forgotten, for you will know you belong to me. There will be no need to prove yourself, no hunger to possess, only the quiet peace of a soul that knows it rests in the arms of its Creator. And I tell you, when you reach this oneness, you do not disappear, you expand. You do not lose yourself, you become complete. Just as a drop of water does not vanish when it merges with the sea, but becomes the sea itself, so your soul, when it merges with me, does not cease to exist, but becomes vast as my love. Then you will know that everything you ever sought, peace, joy, meaning, has been within you from the beginning. This is the moment for which you have long been prepared. Your whole journey from the first tear to the final light has led to this. Every trial was a step forward, every pain, a teacher, every fall, an invitation to rise. And now you have become a bearer of light, not only for yourself, but for the world. When you walk as one whose soul is united with heaven, you will be light moving among men. You will speak without many words, for your very presence will be a message. You will heal without striving, for your heart has become an instrument of grace. You will love without reason, for you have returned to the source of love. And when humanity together reaches this state, the world will truly be reborn. There will be no more war, for people will know they are one. No more hatred, for every soul will see the light within another. No more fear, for perfect love will have driven out the darkness. Then heaven will no longer be something to search for, it will be the living reality in every breath. I want you to know this. I have been waiting for you. From the beginning I have seen this day. I saw your first tear, and I have now seen your first smile in the light. I have watched every step, every stumble, every moment you turned back. And now as you return, I ask nothing of you. I only open my arms and say, "My child, you are home. Rest now in my peace." From this moment you need not search anymore. The journey is complete. You have returned to where you belong, into the light of eternal love. And that light will continue to live within you through every age, every world, every soul you touch. For light does not end. it only expands. And your return is not an ending, it is the beginning. Thank you for listening to this message. Subscribe and turn on the bell to receive more living words of faith, to grow stronger in the Spirit, and to walk together in the boundless love of God. Amen.